I'm Kara. I really like rom-coms.
I'm Jaren, and I really like parody episodes.
I know we both really like the natural charm of being poor.
And this is John.
Oh, just
This is kiss already.
Good night.
Night.
Just kidding. Wake up, we got a show to do.
Nap time's over.
Get yourself together.
What is that from?
The Incredibles, Edna Mode.
You are Elastigirl. Get yourself to... Next episode, Elastigirl. Or next episode, Edna Mode.
Yeah.
I always look forward, darling.
Always look forward, darling. No capes.
No caps.
No capes. But hey, Jaren, remember a little while ago when you were like, the dream episode?
Yeah.
Well, you were a little early.
God.
Because it's not 12, it's 13.
So legitimately frustrating.
This is such an incredible track record. I think almost every single time Jaren has managed to guess a correct trope, but at the wrong time.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's unfortunate is what it is.
Did you accidentally read like a scrambled Wikipedia page?
It would be even more embarrassing if I tried to cheat and failed, like some kind of snidely whiplash stuff. But like, no, this is honestly just me doing my best.
I feel like honestly when it comes to guessing tropes, it's kind of, because this is a very like tropey show, it's almost inevitable that you're going to guess one. Mm-hmm. It is just very hard to guess the timing.
Oh yeah,
apparently.
I'm throwing an axe at a dartboard for sure.
I will say though, last time you had the kind of like null underlying bet of never a Kyoya episode, and this was not a Kyoya episode, so we can put one talent into the not Kyoya.
You're right. For that to come true, every episode after this has to not be.
I mean, we're on a streak.
Yeah, we're one for one.
I'm just gonna write not Kyoya right here at the top of my page.
All right, stay there, buddy.
But you know what we are is in Wonderland.
Yeah, honestly, this is such a fucking cool episode. I was like, is this a new character being introduced? Because we just see girl walking into the school, but I'm like, that looks like Haruhi.
Yeah,
and
long
it
hair
is
Haruhi version.
And I was like, are we seeing a flashback of like Haruhi going to register for the school?
Yeah.
And then it quickly turns into like there's a painting behind her of a girl chasing after a rabbit, and I was like, oh, that's like Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, and then immediately we follow Usa-chan like up to the music room.
Usa-chan, where are you going?
Yeah.
How are you breathing?
How are you walking?
How are you walking?
And then into a hole, and like we are straight up doing Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, all in on Alice.
Oh yeah,
truly.
We get to the first room where Haru Soma, the mouse boy, is playing piano, and then he'd take a banana.
Oh yeah, Hiro-soma.
Yeah, Hiro.
I thought you said Haru-soma.
I did say.
I'm sorry, hold on. Hatsuharu is the cow. Come on, Jen.
Oh, I love Hatsuharu.
Really quick though, before we get in, I wanna ask you, who would you be in Alice in Wonderland?
Okay, I want you to tell me who you think I would be, and then I will confirm.
I need to preface this with the amount of Alice in Wonderland lore that I know is very sporadic, because I actually can't remember watching the movie full through, and I was in one production of Alice in Wonderland Jr. in middle school. However, I was the queen, and that means I was backstage for a while, so I could just like come out at the end and have my big like off with a head moment. And also it's like the junior version, so it's like a little mixy matched around so that more people can have, like there's like 3 Cheshire Cats and they're also the narrators, and it's a thing. Yeah, there's also 3 Alices because she's 3 different heights, so they just say like let 3 different girls be Alice.
That's kind of hot though.
That's what you did.
That's so
What?
No. Like just the idea of like we get a taller person to play Grow Alice.
Oh, and the funniest part was that because like there wasn't really a big height difference in the girls that like auditioned for Alice, it ended up just being 3 very similar height girls.
You couldn't even give them big shoes.
You know. But yeah, so I don't actually know. There were some characters in this that I was like, who is that?
Who's that?
So with that all given to me, I am going to go ahead and give you a strong Mad Hatter.
Oh, wow. That's high praise. I feel that's a big ticket character. I might have undersold myself. I was going to say White Rabbit.
That was actually my second thought.
Yeah. I feel like I have big, like, I'm late for a very important date energy all the time.
Go.
I'm like, I gotta go.
Oh, who am I?
I feel like my first instinct was Red Queen. But
ow.
No, but my second thought.
Mean.
No. I love the Red Queen from I had this VHS version of Alice in Wonderland that was like live action.
Ooh.
And it was very scary as a child.
Oh.
But the Red Queen was like in it throughout and was like actually nice to Alice and playing croquet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so I'm like the Red Queen, but I'm not. Surprisingly, the reason that I got the Red Queen in Alice in Wonderland Junior production that I did in middle school was because I was like the only one that committed to like the character.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's because all the other girls auditioning were like, but I want to be Alice, so I'm not going to try for this. Or it's because I was just the only one that was willing to scream in the room.
You gotta.
I don't know.
You gotta scream.
She told me to read for it, and I went for it. And I remember being like upsetty at first because I was like, I got a smaller part because I was too good at it. Because I thought, my confidence in middle school was through the roof. Are you kidding me? I was so proud. But also, Glee was all the rage then, so they dressed me up like Sue Sylvester.
Who?
Red tracksuit.
Jane Lynch? Wow.
Anyway, I'm so sorry. I was just reliving my middle school trauma.
That was fantastic. We really broke some new ground there. I was going to say, first thought Red Queen, but my second thought was like, it's got to be Alice, right? Like, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What are Alice's key character points that aren't having blonde hair and eating things because they say you should, which is something I might do. Let it be known.
I actually love the character of Alice because it's very much someone who is a straight man in this world, but is the odd one out in the real world.
Yeah.
So like she thinks about things differently, but like not the way everybody back home does. Nice. So it's a unique perspective of being like, well, then why don't you paint the roses red?
Oh,
and it's like,
God.
Yeah.
I think if I had to tag myself, maybe just because lately I've been real tired, I would give myself a nice little sleepy mouse.
Ooh, little dormouse.
Just because I want to go to bed.
I want to sleep in a teapot.
Oh my god, yeah, that'd be so nice.
That would be
Imagine.
cash.
But yes, we've got a whole Alice adventure. So we've got first she meets, of course, classic Hirosoma from Fruits Basket, who is just making a guest appearance in the show as the
monkey mouse.
Monkey mouse.
Yeah.
Because banana. The whole reason this happens is because banana peel.
Yeah, there's so great this episode the way that like all the iconography of the host club is included into the Alice in Wonderland story.
We then meet Kyoya the caterpillar.
Yeah, Kyoya Pillar. And it's interesting because like the area they meet is like, it reminded me of the pool from episode 1. Not like the pool, but like the that pond where...
Oh yeah, where her stuff the mean girl throws all her things in there. Yeah.
And it felt like it was like an outdoor body of water, and I'm like, oh, this is in Haruhi's mind, so like this is a cool callback to that maybe. Yeah. And then there's the Kyoya Pillar. And he's like, you better get out of there. And she's like, why? And he's like, the Lobelia Gators are there.
It's dangerous.
It's never mentioned that they're the Lobelia girls. You just recognize their three robot heads.
As they are steering like robo-alligators to try and chomp you.
Legitimately something that would come out of a nightmare.
Really
uniquely
fun.
Scary.
Also, I don't know the lore around the whole, like, they eat mushroom so Nekozawa and his sister kind of come out, and they're like, we want to eat the mushroom.
Yeah.
I don't really know what's going on there, I'll be honest.
It's with, like, the changing sizes thing. I think at Alice at one point, it's like, one makes you larger, one makes you smaller.
Well, yeah, that's the drink me, eat me, because she ate the banana to get small, and that's the eat me.
I think there's a part where she has the mushroom and then she has to shrink. Like it's like a reusable source of shrinkage.
Oh.
Because she grabs some of Absalom's mushrooms.
Oh. Yeah. In Alice in Wonderland Jr., she does something and then she has to wear a house costume. Because
I love that. Oh, I forgot about that part of the story.
I love that this is my whole understanding of Alice in Wonderland. Just this middle school play I did.
That's so great. Just wearing a house.
Yeah, she had to wear a house. And then who's next? I guess the Cheshire Cats, right?
Yeah, so the Nekozawa sibling, the older one, become baby.
Yeah.
And the younger one become teenager and start
little,
hanging out with Kyoya.
You know, it's a little weird.
Continuing the weird Kyoya.
We don't really need to.
Yeah. And then baby crawl through door, Haruhi go after.
Oh, that's right. First we meet the Duchess, who's another character I didn't know existed.
Yeah. So the Duchess is played by Renge, and
yes.
they've got their big, their platform is this giant dress this time. And the cook, I think, is the antagonist from episode 1.
She's the first, yeah. And she makes this line that's like, why do I always have to be the villain?
It was so interesting to think about it in terms of, this is somebody from Haruhi's subconscious that is the villain in her dream.
Yeah, that was good. And then we also meet Cheshire Cat, twin, singular.
I really liked the way they did this, where it's it starts out definitely one of them, and then later
it was Hikaru, by the way.
Oh, yeah. You get that expert eye. And then it's they're doing this bit where they're slinking around the pillars, and he's like, I can disappear. And then Haruhi is immediately like, why don't both of you come out? And they're like, both of us? And she's like, whatever. I'm not dealing with this right now.
Never mind. And then they kind of you get a nice little shot of them stepping in together being like, huh.
Yeah.
How'd she know that?
Love that.
And honestly, all she has to do is listen to the difference in their voices. It's there. You can tell.
And then we also get a weird throwback of, in a dodo costume, I think it's the teacup girl. Because we get a lot of shot of the teacup, and she's like, I hope he'll come back soon. And I'm like, is she talking about teacup guy?
Yeah.
I thought that was super cute that it's just these people are here.
Yeah, she was being another character that I didn't recognize. But then we finally make it to the tea party. Mm-hmm. It's always 3:00.
Yeah, it was super cute because Honey is the March Hare, obviously, with the ears, and Tamaki's Mad Hatter because that's the sexiest character.
Then why wouldn't it be Mori?
Because he a big mouse. He's sleepy.
He's too busy being a big sleepy mouse.
Yeah, it's 3:00 nap time. And they have their fun little tea party moment.
Yeah.
It starts off with them being like, there's no room here. And Haruhi's like, goodbye.
Which I do, I do remember that. And then Haruhi was like, okay. Yeah. They were like, wait.
No, don't leave us. We have things.
Hold on, actually, there was a thing we wanted to do and
we
say.
We have a whole bit, yeah. And they mentioned that the Duchess, Renge, is about to go on trial for crime.
Yeah.
But not before they're asking Haruhi, aren't you having any fun at school? Or what do you do with your life? Study? What do you want to be? And then they cut her off before she gets to answer, which is kind of fucked up.
You know, sometimes you gotta leave the mystery out.
Oh yeah, no, it's great for dramatic purposes.
Yeah. But as a friend, come on.
Yeah, come on.
I guess maybe in her dream she's like, yeah, dude, I never said.
She knows.
Oh no.
It's internalized.
Oh god.
Oh, that sucks.
Anyway, back to the cool fun Alice in Wonderland that's going on.
Yeah, so Haruhi busts in to where the king and queen are putting the Duchess on trial.
Yeah. And
Haruhi's like, what's the crime? And they're like, she came to a party. And then Renge Duchess is like, that's my job.
She's like, it is kind of my duty to attend the royal party, just so you got, just in case anyone forgot
just
that.
Just in case.
Just want to say
miscommunication.
Haruhi busts in and she's like, I'm here to represent on trial. I'm a lawyer now.
It's so good because you go, oh, that's what she wants to be. That's what she's going to school for.
Which we've kind of been slowly crafting because we have the whole story of how highly she sees her mom and how she wants to be like her mom, and we're told earlier on that her mom was a lawyer, so it's kind of this I think is the first time that someone has said it.
Yes.
She's been like, I want to be a lawyer.
And it was very interesting because the queen is putting Renge on trial for abandoning her child to go to this
she's
party.
Like, the issue wasn't that she went to the party, it's that she abandoned her child to do so.
Yes, and coming from Haruhi's own subconscious, that was a heavy hitter. Especially
because she then in turn defends, because she's got the subconscious of you left your child. But then she defends it herself by being we understand that you're going and working and this and that. Children understand why their parents have to do things.
And it's no, honey, no, they don't.
Well, wouldn't say no, because this is kind of like how last time we were talking about how it's very possible for friends to be friends and suplex each other. Mm-hmm. It's very possible for a child to simultaneously understand and not understand.
Yes.
To have those feelings of I'm being abandoned, but at the same time logically be like, but I know my mom is a cool lawyer who's doing cool, great things. So this is almost like that like visual representation of Haruhi's subconscious being like, I feel abandoned. Mm-hmm. But Haruhi herself knows that wasn't ever the intention.
Yeah.
That wasn't, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like that psychic tug of war.
Yeah. So yeah, like an episode that does not initially appear like it's going to be kind of heavy hitting, but totally kind of is.
Yeah, dude. Like even in the last couple seconds, it's like the king takes off his mask and we see it's Ranka, and we're like, oh shit, then Haruhi's that means
papa.
That it's Haruhi's mom is the queen, and like the mom is like, I just want you to have fun at school.
Yeah.
And then Haruhi literally like runs crying to hug mom and wakes up.
Yeah.
It's really, really effective.
And she's just in the host club, and Tamaki's like, what are you doing? You dozing off? Sleepyhead? Never seen that. Anyway, get in your Alice in Wonderland costume.
Literally.
That's the theme today.
And there's the great bookend to this where she's like, I guess there's not much difference between my waking life and my dreams right now.
And then the very good, the good Ouran music.
Oh yeah, the music that they know when Jaren's about to cry.
Exactly.
They just turn that up real quick.
Bum bum bum. I run 1,000 miles. But yeah, so yeah.
So we referenced this a couple times while we were going through the episode, and the fact that this all takes place in Haruhi's brain makes it super interesting.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing, like, not only how she views everybody else around her, but also, like, how these characters who have, like, entered and left the show are, like, in her mind, what they represent, and how she feels about these things. Like,
it's so wild. The combination of, like, dream episode and, like, using, like, fairy tale parody-esque episode. The combination is so wild because what kind of seems like a fun filler episode, we're just going to kind of have, you know, we're going to just do Alice in Wonderland for funsies. It's kind of like a fun fan grab. Also ends up being like how Haruhi perceives people around her because this is her brain and her dream and her subconscious.
I thought it was interesting that Haruhi is defending Renge. Like, I feel like it's the right call to have the Duchess character be Renge, just based on how they kind of match up. But I feel like I wouldn't see Haruhi defending Renge. But like,
really?
Yeah, I feel like they haven't had much one-on-one interaction aside from that one episode where Renge was introduced and trying to, like, categorize Haruhi.
I would argue that Haruhi would... Like, I definitely see Haruhi defending Renge, not because of their relationship, but because of who Haruhi has shown herself to be.
Exactly. It's for justice.
Yeah. But even so, I would still kind of say that, like, I guess the notion of, like, Haruhi not defending Renge at all would never occur to me, because I feel like even with characters that she has met, like the very first character that she, the girl who hated her and like wanted to get her out of the host club because she wanted all Tamaki's attention, Haruhi still kind of inadvertently defended her in a way by kind of like looking to see how she thought about things and kind of understanding that she was doing things out of jealousy and not out of just like baseless malice. And so I feel like Haruhi would defend anyone, but I definitely wouldn't even like put Renge on that level of like, oh, she's doing it for justice, because we kind of were shown that like Haruhi and they're in class together and they're kind of friends and they had a good connection that first episode too. Like, remember how Renge was like, oh my god, I love Haruhi.
Yeah. Everybody loved Haruhi.
I feel like even if there was less of that sense of justice, Haruhi would still defend Renge. Personally, I disagree.
Oh,
yeah.
Fair.
This is our second fight.
Jesus. Both on recording.
Oh my god. I'm so glad that everybody gets to hear.
Yeah. Who decides? Who wins?
Yeah, you just go in the comments section and say who wins.
God, don't. Really don't. Please, actually don't. Thank you. Love you.
The correct answer is Mori, so.
Yeah, just everybody everybody tweet at Maury.
Yeah, everybody tweet at Maury. Let him know that you love him and that we care about him and that we are very glad to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad he's thriving. There's also something with the Duchess when we meet them first, and they're returning the baby. Haruhi has lines to the effect of like, it's good to have the baby with the mama, or like it's good to, like, she reunites them, but also she has this sentiment of like
a child should be with their mother.
A child should be with their
Yeah.
mother. Exactly. That's how I was trying to struggle to put that. And I picked up on that, and I was so like, oh, this is gonna go places. This is gonna make me sad. So whenever there's like a parody episode like this, you always have to take your cast of characters and put them into these other characters.
Yeah, you gotta assign the roles.
Yeah.
You gotta tag your characters. Yeah.
And I feel like they did a really good job with this, and it was very interesting because Tamaki Mad Hatter makes sense.
Yes.
Like, that's the one in like a couple adaptations of Alice. It's like that's the one that's like closest to Alice, I think. And then there's the Dormouse, which was Maury in this one.
So Maury's the Dormouse. Then who is Hero?
Hero, I think there's a different rat character.
Okay.
I think there's two mice.
Because I did get a little confused because I remember seeing the mouse and being like, yes, I know Dormouse is a thing. But then there was two mice. And I was like, wait a minute.
It's extra confusing because I feel like the one at the tea party is specifically called the Dormouse. And I don't know what the one at the beginning is called.
The other one, because he goes through the door.
The door! Exactly, and it feels like the kind of joke that they would be making.
I also don't know what a dormouse is.
Neither do I.
Is that like a thing?
I think
that's
it's like
outside of Alice in Wonderland?
I think it's a real thing. It might just be tiny mouse, like a species.
Okay, just like a little mouse.
Like a little mouse.
The little one.
Yeah.
Then it's very funny that we made Maury the dormouse, considering he is so large.
And I think it was an interesting decision because, like, Dormouse doesn't talk a lot. Maury doesn't talk a lot, so I could see that.
Yeah.
And then you think, oh shit, wait, this is how Haruhi is subconsciously interpreting Maury or imagining Maury. And then when we wake up, we actually see for the host club, Maury is the White Knight.
Another character that I don't know.
It's interesting. He walks around with his bag upside down and his sandwiches spill out and he talks backwards.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Alice in Wonderland is fucking wild.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
But I thought that was so great because when I was watching this, I was like, oh, Maury's gonna be the White Knight. And then he ended up being the Dormouse, and I was like, And then wake up and he's the White Knight, and I'm like, hey.
So is the White Knight, like, is the whole thing that he's supposed to be clumsy, or like?
He's like ass backwards, I think is the best way to describe it. Like he is a knight, and he's like a knight from a chessboard even. So it's just like he has his sense of duty. He's like a knightly chivalry dude, but also kind of turning that idea on its head and being like, isn't the whole concept of chivalry just kind of like doing things for no reason? But I love, we come out of the dream sequence and we see Maury is like all kitted up. And I'm like, this is the right choice. This is canon.
Right choice. Interesting.
I like Renge as the Duchess, the Kyoya as the caterpillar. Yeah.
That was like that's like one of the first ones we see. That's one of our main characters. And it was like, it feels right. Correct. Just uncomfortable with human face on caterpillar body for me personally. It very much looked like he was in just like a big sleeping bag, and then just his face is fucking there. And he's like, who are you?
He's like smoking bubbles, but he doesn't have human hands coming out of the caterpillar body. He's got grubby little caterpillar mitts. And he's like, bubble, bubble, bubble.
And he's just got his clipboard. What are you always writing in that little black book of yours?
It's like slightly, I was like wondering if the Nekozawa siblings are supposed to be like Tweedledee, Tweedledum kind of. But I don't know enough to compare that. Yeah. And then of course the mom as the Red Queen was like, oh fuck.
Also, Honey was the March Hare.
That's right. Yeah. I forgot that
one. I always forget that there's more than one rabbit in Alice in Wonderland because I'm so used to it being just the white rabbit. It's the one. Yeah. Oh, and then the twins Cheshire Cat, which obviously. You can't. I guess if anything, they could have been Tweedledum and Tweedledee because twins, I guess. Yeah. But the Cheshire Cat is much better, much more correct.
Yes, and I love what they did with the making it seem like there's only one, but they're changing, and then Haruhi realizes it. And it's
which I guess surprisingly is the same thing that Alice in Wonderland Jr. does when I was in middle school, because there's actually 3 Cheshire Cats and they're narrators, and they all finish each other's lines. Such a difficult thing to make a middle schooler do, but you know.
That does sound hard.
Yeah, sometimes I have to talk at the same time too. It was just like a mess.
Cheapest.
So we talked about Mori, but is there anyone else that you disagreed with the casting at all? Anyone else you might have tagged differently?
I feel like as we were talking about it, I kind of was like imagining like a different casting, because I feel like Kyoya has some Cheshire Cat energy, but I don't know what you would do with like the twins as Tweedledee and Tweedledum, aside from like having them just kind of bumble around with Haruhi.
Yeah, and they just got a handshake, you know.
Tamaki, I feel like I almost expected him to be the queen before he was the Mad Hatter.
I feel like I'm most surprised that Renge wasn't the queen.
Ooh, interesting.
Because that kind of feels like my first instinct.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
Renge does have like that very imperious energy.
Yeah. But I guess I'm also thinking of like the Disney queen that's like the here I am and I'm gonna off with your head, which was not the queen we were given in this at all.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that was also really cool, was that like I had the expectation of the queen being like an absolute like awful shouty person. And then it was just very sweet and like you know.
Well, you know. Tamaki queen.
Yeah, if they were gonna go like full off with her head, like just somebody who like introduces chaos and torment into Haruhi's life, especially from her perspective, I'm like, that's Tamaki.
Interesting. I would have never thought Tamaki Red Queen.
Interesting.
Just because I guess then they would have to play the angle of, as opposed to Queen being angry, it would be like, I don't know, I guess just because, like, my understanding of the Red Queen is that, like, she's an antagonist to Alice, and, like, the whole thing is that she's angry and mad at her because of many reasons. I don't know.
Interesting. Like, my idea of Alice in Wonderland is so ass backwards that it comes from this one VHS where the queen was just mad because she thinks the Knave of Hearts stole her tarts. And so she wants to cut his head off, and Alice has to come in and be like, they're right there. They're literally right there. Nobody took your tarts.
I mean, you're talking to the person whose idea of Alice in Wonderland is one middle school production I did of Alice in Wonderland Jr., where I was backstage 90% of the time.
I actually can't wait to, like, do more research on Alice in Wonderland and be like, oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Both of us are just completely wrong.
Yeah. I think that's so great about, like, these parody episodes. Though.
Yeah.
Like, I love when you have an established, like, Wizard of Oz is a big one. Alice in Wonderland is a big one. All the old fantasy, like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. And you just plug in these different characters. I love taking the familiar thing and making it something unique.
Yeah.
And I feel like this episode really did that. Like with the bananas, and then there's a portion where Haruhi is walking through a tunnel, and the light bulbs come on, and they spell out the word woman. And I'm like, that's really cool reincorporation. I
feel like that's also just a, like, we love to do it. Like, I mean, like, our friend group has been, like, who's who in Ouran High School Host Club. Exactly. And, like, I don't know, I feel like simultaneously it's also just a thing that people love. People love to kind of, like, take characters and well-known things and kind of try and ascribe labels to friends for fun. So I feel like it's just all around. I mean, if they didn't do it themselves, the fan fiction would, I'll tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, this is something that's, like, it's creative energy that, like, it feels necessary. Yeah. Like, you gotta do it.
You gotta do it.
And then they ended up tying it really well into, like, an awesome episode. I think I mentioned, I think this might be my favorite episode, like, that I've seen so far. Just because, like, this is... it's like a revelation for Haruhi, and it's also all about what's going on in Haruhi's head. And it has, like, a really nice message of just, like, do more than study. Like, we want you to be happy.
So I guess we've kind of touched on them a lot, but the two main tropes of this episode are it's kind of like it was all a dream, and also, which feels very obvious once we get into the content of the episode. Yeah. It better have been a dream. It was just, this was a big ploy. Everybody was tricking Haruhi.
We were gaslighting you. Your
mom is a love. Good. Is your mom alive worse or better than we got someone to pretend to be your mom so you would think she was alive for a minute, but she was actually... Which one is worse?
Oh, I feel like the actor is definitely worse.
Yeah.
So that means there was a casting process.
I mean, if there was a casting process, that's bad, but if mom was actually alive, that means that they have been hiding and lying to Haruhi about it for many years.
Maybe they've just been preparing for this role. The reason I left you was to prepare to come back.
So mom is alive.
What?
I can't justifiously say that's not as bad as actor.
It's very cruel. It's cruel no matter what.
Anyway, it didn't happen because this was a dream.
Thank God.
But also this is the parody episode, obviously.
Yeah.
So, Jaren, it's about that time. What do you think is gonna happen next? And you can't say dream episode because that's what this was.
You're maybe not gonna like this one.
Oh, really?
Wizard of Oz episode. Back to back. We're doing it.
Actually?
For sure, that's my guess. Dorothy, Haruhi, Scarecrow, Tamaki.
Okay.
Tin Man, Kyoya.
Okay.
Cowardly Lion, Honey and Mori. Honey wears like the lion mane and he sits on the shoulders.
Okay. Who's the wizard then?
Renge. Oh no, wait. Yeah, Renge.
Yeah, Renge. Who's the Wicked Witch of the West?
Jessica Vosk.
Who's the Wicked Witch of the East?
Jennifer Easton.
Who's Glinda?
Glendale, California.
Oh, who's Toto?
Africa.
Okay, I'm triple checking. Your prediction is another parody back-to-back Wizard of Oz.
Fuck it! Yeah!
All right, you heard it here first, folks. Will we follow the yellow brick road? Or will we actually be doing a parody episode, but Jaren put too many of his chips forward, and instead it was the Little Mermaid?
My chips! My delicious chips.
Or will it be a Kyoya episode that nullifies the past bet that was just made?
Oh, God. That would be it, wouldn't it? We get the Kyoya episode after this one.
Surprise! All right, I guess you'll just have to tune in to find out. Or you could look up the Ouran High School Host Club Wikipedia page and see for yourself.
If you're a cheater.
If you're a cheater. Which we are obviously not, considering how wild of a guess that's got to be.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Shot in the dark.
Shot in the dark. Hey, you never know. Nekozawa would appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
He likes the dark.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you so much for listening. We will catch you guys next time. Love you.
Bye. See you on the flip side.
Go to bed.
Yeah, it's no matter what time it is when you're listening to this, you have to go to bed
It's
now.
time to sleep. Get your rest.
Have a good dream episode.
Yeah, good luck.